During Michael Cohen's testimony before the House Oversight Committee, he made a number of allegations against Donald Trump, including some allegations about how Trump was trying to hide his pretty terrible grades. Take a look.
When I say con man, I'm talking about a man who declares himself brilliant, but directed me to threaten his high school, his colleges, and the college board to never release his grades or SAT scores. As I mentioned, I'm giving the committee today copies of a letter I sent at Mr. Trump's direction, threatening these schools with civil and criminal actions if Mr. Trump's grades or SAT scores were ever disclosed without his permission. The irony wasn't lost on me at the time that Mr. Trump in 2011 had strongly criticized President Obama for not releasing his grades. As you can see in Exhibit 7, Mr. Trump declared, "Let him show his records," after calling President Obama a terrible student.
Okay, so we're about to get to some fun Trump videos in just a minute, but following those allegations and following the disclosure of that letter, a number of the schools that Trump went to have come forward and have confirmed or corroborated what Michael Cohen had to say. So I'm gonna give you an example of some of the former administrators who worked at the New York military academy. That was the military academy that Trump was sent to by his father after his father realized that his son is an idiot. So let me give you a statement from Evan Jones, who was the headmaster of this school. He says, quote, "The superintendent of the New York Military Academy came to me in a panic because he had been accosted by prominent wealthy alumni of the school who were Trump's friends and who wanted to keep his record secret." Jeffrey Coverdale said, "You need to go grab that record and deliver it to me because I need to deliver it to them." Again, this is Evan Jones, who was a headmaster at the school.
All right, let me begin to rip into Donald Trump in the most fun ways imaginable. Now, I told you, I've been saying to release the transcripts from day one, and by day one, I mean in the primaries, in the Republican primaries back in 2015, 2016. Because this guy's a dummy. Now, look, that alone is okay, interesting. We shouldn't have an incredibly unintelligent president. But more importantly, he's a spoiled little child. He never earned anything, and he's a pathological liar. And to me, the part that set me off, and in fact, this goes back years. I said this when I was on MSNBC. When he asked for Obama's transcripts, he didn't believe that he could have been that good a student at Columbia or Harvard. Well, there was no reason to believe that when he was the head of the Harvard Law Review. That means he was a fantastic student. But Trump didn't believe it. Why? I'll fill in the blanks for you. It's not complicated because Obama's black.
Can I jump in for a second? So I remember Trump making those arguments about Obama, both about his birth certificate and also about his grades. And I dug up one of the videos where he gave Obama the option of revealing what his grades were in return for some money.
And I got great details on what a baby Trump is and trying to hide his record. So don't miss any of this. All right, let's watch.
President Obama is the least transparent president in the history of this country. There's never been anything like it. We know very little about our president. I'm very honored to have gotten him to release his long form birth certificate or whatever it may be. Now, many people have questions and very serious questions. I have a deal for the president, a deal that I don't believe he can refuse, and I hope he doesn't. If Barack Obama opens up and gives his college records and applications, and if he gives his passport applications and records, I will give to a charity of his choice, Inner City Children in Chicago, American Cancer Society, AIDS research, anything he wants, a check immediately for $5 million.
Okay, so there's Trump trying to get Obama to release his grades. And remember, he did graduate top of his class. He was part of the Harvard Law Review. I mean, it's all the evidence that you need. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay, I've got a similar challenge for Donald Trump. So let me get to that, and then we'll document more of his crying. So $1 million challenge for Donald Trump. Not kidding. So my grades versus your grades at Penn. We both went to Wharton undergrad, so it's a good apples to apples, okay? And if you release all of your records, your high school grades, which are, sure, laughably pathetic, which will show that you never should have even gotten into Fordham. Then release your Fordham grades, which will show you clearly couldn't have transferred into Penn. And then release your Penn grades, which shows that you probably barely graduated with the great help of your dad and all of his millionaire friends. And you release your SAT scores, and you say, okay, you accept my challenge. If you have better grades than me, I'll give you $1 million. If I have better grades than you, you give me $1 million. If you release all those things and agree to this deal, we definitely have a bet. Now, would $1 million, do I have $1 million? No, you'll bankrupt me and take everything I have, okay?
What are you doing right now?
Go for it. Donald Trump, you know how ecstatic MAGA would be if you bankrupted me, head of the Young Turks, okay? So go for it. Let's see if you got better grades than me at Penn, okay? So you don't, you won't. He has to voluntarily release the transcripts. Not if they get leaked. He has to say, yes, I accept that challenge, release the transcripts. And hey, you're supposed to be really high IQ. One of the things you're known for is being mentally stable. And my grades were good.
What are you doing?
They weren't great. No, I'm ready.
You're crazy.
Anna, the chance of Donald Trump having better grades than anyone, let alone me, is hovers between 0% and negative 20%.
No. Like, I believe that. I believe that 100%. I'm not worried about comparing grades here. I'm worried about your proposition.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm making it alluring. I mean, you know how ecstatic MAGA would be if you just took everything I had?
Oh my God, okay guys.
Go for it, big guy, go for it. Okay, but he's not gonna voluntarily release any of the transcripts because he's an idiot. He got terrible grades because his daddy got him in. He's a spoiled little baby who never earned a thing in his life. So you know what he said, this moron of morons? He said, I heard I was first in my class at Penn.
So
what do you mean you heard that? You either are or you're not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to go to that video. It's video 4, we're skipping ahead, but here he is. Before we get to the video though, let me give you some context. He was introducing Mike Pompeo and talking about Mike Pompeo's credentials and what a great guy he is. And in the middle of that, he felt the need to brag about himself.
He entered at 18 and he ended up graduating first in his class. You know, I heard that rumor a long time ago. I thought it was a rumor of, I don't know, I hear first of it. And I've heard it so many times. I've also heard I was first in my class at the Wharton School of Finance.
You heard that. I'm pretty sure if you were first, they would have told you. It wouldn't be a rumor.
Yeah.
There was a rumor that you graduated from Penn, which is already a grave injustice. And Penn should be mortified for the rest of time that they obvious corruption to let this buffoon graduate from Penn.
Yeah, so the Washington Post actually looked into that and they found that Trump's name does not appear on the school's dean's list or on the list of students who received academic honors in the class of 1968.
Now, if you never received any academic honors, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be first in your class. Okay, he's such an obvious liar. About the military academy, he said, I did very well under the military system. This is a quote. I became one of the top guys at the whole school. Well, great, then you could prove it by releasing the transcripts and we'll all be awed and be like, oh my God, I didn't know he was that high IQ. So why did you then, first of all, when Washington Post asked him 2016, so then will you release the transcripts? He said, I'm not letting you look at anything. That's a direct quote. I'm not letting you look at anything. Okay, what happened? Why are you panicked? He sends Cohen in like a thug, etc., trying to intimidate all these guys. I got a great quote from what Cohen told him later on a related issue. So they said these grabbed the record, as Anna told you. They went on to say that it was, quote, a paramount interest in securing those records. Well, if you did so well, why is there such a paramount interest in securing the records? And you know what the board wanted, the wealthy board of the military academy? They said, we need you to hand over the transcripts because they're gonna burn them. Because if it ever gets out how stupid Donald Trump is, it'll be deeply embarrassing to all of us.
So Jeffrey Coverdale, who was the superintendent at the time, was the individual who hid the records. And he was quoted as saying this: "I was given directives, part of which I could follow, but part of which I could not." Because he didn't want to hand the records to the individuals demanding it. And that was handing them over to the trustees. "I moved them elsewhere on campus where they could not be released. It's the only time I ever moved an alumnus's records." So he says he did that in 2013, and he has no idea where those records are today.
So this is interesting. They did go to Chapter 11 eventually, and I'll tell you how they first asked Trump. That's an awesome story. I'll get to in 1 second. But it didn't work. So in 2015 they closed it down, but somebody bought it. A Chinese investor. Interesting.
Yeah.
Vincent Mo bought it at a bankruptcy auction, and he said he'd pay off the school's $60 million debt. So presumably Mo has the records somewhere. He's just got to go find them. He has no allegiance to Donald Trump. In fact, that leads us to the last part of this story. So they're in a world of hurt. Part of the reason they're responding to everything that the millionaires and the board wants in such an unusual way, and everyone that was at the school at the time that's quoted in the Washington Post story says this was highly unusual. Normally, alumni don't panic and go, "Oh my God, you gotta get rid of my records because they're so embarrassing." That's unheard of, unheard of. No one who's got good grades wants to get rid of their transcript. So let's just acknowledge that. Even MAGA guys, you know that, you know what a dummy he is. Right now, there's comments going, "Yeah, well, it's okay, you don't have to be smart to be president." Okay, I mean, I was a dummy too, so what? I know. Okay, so dummy, baby. All right, last thing. So they go to Trump and they're like, and so they're putting pressure on the school. The reason that these guys cooperate, they don't turn over for it to be burned, right? Or buried or whatever they were gonna do with it. But they do put it away, they sequester it from the rest of the records to basically give their assent to this. Why? Because they're about to go bankrupt, right? And then so they then later turn around and go to Donald Trump and go, "Hey, we're trying to raise $30 million to save the school, you love the school. Okay, can you give us $7 million of the 30, right? Because you're a billionaire and you went to the school and you went to this, right?" And he's like, "Joe, what's in it for me?" They're like, "What do you mean? You saved the school. It's a school you went to and you love." He's like, "No, what do I get? What do I get?" Or they're like, "Oh, I don't, okay, why don't we name a building after you?" And then they give him a bunch of proposals and he's like, "This is not a good business deal, okay?" And he got mad at them because one of them spilled Diet Coke on his carpet. Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't like that either.
Okay, okay, but here's my favorite part. So he says no because I'm not getting enough out of this, okay? It's supposed to be charity. I know you've never heard of it in your life. But this is the insane, gratuitous thing that he said he does afterwards. He said has Cohen send him a letter. This is after the transcript thing, this is years after it, where they come and ask him for the money, he says no. Already he was rude in saying no. Like, I don't mean he could say no all day long. The way he said it was pretty rude, but who cares, all right? He has Cohen send him a letter. Here's what Pizzullo, who was at the school at the time, said. "Cohen told us he would love to have enough money to buy the school so he could bulldoze it." Who gets asked for charity and responds like that? Wow, what a monster. What a pathetic little boy who never earned a thing in his life.
So we're gonna go to break, and I'm going to quickly create a Patreon account, and I'd like you guys to donate for my individual media business that I'm gonna start, since I might not have a job in, I don't know.
No, he personally bankrupts me, okay, not the Young Turks.
Okay.
Okay, it's about me.
Anyway, Patreon account, check it out. All right, I don't think he's gonna release it. I think that it's so embarrassing for him that he's gone to extreme lengths to bury his records.
And it's not just releasing it. I ain't got $1 billion to give to him. He's got to release it and have better grades than me. Inconceivable.
Oh, I totally, no, you don't.
I was wondering why you're panicking.
No, God.
There's like a 0% chance he has better grades than me.
No, as soon as you offered the $1 million, like I blacked out. I blacked out.
I got into Columbia Law after going to Penn.
No, of course.
And I didn't have any daddy to get me in.
Oh, okay.
The chance of him having better grades than me is less than zero.
Great. Okay, then great bet or great deal. I like it. Art of the deal. Art of the deal. Listen to the second half of it.
Okay, that's right. Man, I was wondering, man, like she does not have much confidence in my grades.
No. It's just that as soon as you mentioned the $1 million, I was like, oh my God, and everything else, like I blacked out, couldn't hear anything else.
Black it out. Gone.
Everything slowed down.
Fun for everybody. All right, tyt.com/join as well as our Patreon account. All right. Home of Progressives, baby. We'll be right back. The TYT Plus app is now available on iOS and Android. Download to get more TYT content at tyt.com/app.